This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only and is not intended to harass or bully anyone. Mr. Thompson, if you're watching this, please don't sue me. Over the past 2 decades, video games have undergone a significant transformation, going from simple 2D environments to highly immersive 3D worlds that generate millions of dollars in revenue. Despite their success, video games have faced their fair share of criticism. People have made baseless arguments like gaming isn't a real skill or video games incite violence and are bad for society.
We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace.
But there's one man who takes his hatred of video games to a whole new level. He's filed multiple lawsuits against game developers and spent years protesting about how video games will ruin society. Meet Jack Thompson, who was born on the 25th of July 1951 and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. You're starting to see the red flags, huh? From a young age, Thompson knew he had a special talent for complaining. As he grew older, he discovered his true calling in life, suing people for having a different opinion. If you're not already scared, you're about to be, because this guy is a maniac. In 1988, Thompson found himself in the midst of an epic legal feud with radio host Neil Rogers. How did it all start, you might ask? Well, Thompson convinced the FCC to fine the Miami radio a whopping $10,000 for airing songs like Boys Want Sex in the Morning. And if that wasn't enough, Thompson also sued the station for violating an agreement to stop harassing him on air. And to make a decent case, he spent the next 8 months recording every single one of Rogers' broadcasts and documented an unbelievable 40,000 mentionings of his own name.
My lord.
Stormtrooper.
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 And get this, Thompson claimed that according to the terms of his agreement with the station, they had to pay him $5,000 every time his name was mentioned, which led to him suing them for a mind-boggling $200 million. Thompson also ran for prosecutor against Janet Reno, who was a county state attorney at the time. But things got heated when Thompson confronted Reno at a campaign event and asked her to check a box to indicate whether she was gay, bi, or straight. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is Riz. According to Thompson, Reno responded by saying, "I'm only interested in virile men, that's why I'm not attracted to you," and then proceeded to touch his shoulder. Now, because Thompson is such an alpha male, he proceeded to file a police report accusing her of battery. But Jack wasn't done there. In 1990, after his election loss, he started a campaign against a social services group called Switchboard of Miami, claiming that they were placing homosexual education tapes in public schools. Switchboard responded by getting the Supreme Court of Florida to order Thompson to undergo a psychiatric examination. Now that we've established that he's a force to be reckoned with, let's discuss how he's affected the gaming industry and try to stop some of the biggest games from ever releasing. Thompson has constantly attacked video games and the producers, claiming that they're used by teenagers as murder simulators to practice violent plans.
You don't have any evidence. You're making this stuff up. Oh. It's logical, but
we got a ton of evidence.
Even alleging that video games have played a role in school shootings, saying, "In every school, we find that kids who pull the trigger are video gamers." He also claims that scientific studies showed that teenagers process game environments differently from adults, leading to increased violence and copycat behavior. But Thompson's hatred for video games isn't limited to just games themselves. He's also got a problem with the developers and distributors like Sony. According to Thompson, Sony's role in the gaming industry is the closest thing to Pearl Harbor 2. I am not making this up, I assure you. Before we continue further, I want you to take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt and even a pinch of skepticism. The legal language surrounding these cases can be super tedious and confusing, and since I don't want to bore you to death, I'm going to paraphrase and maybe exaggerate or downplay some of the details. In other words, do not take this for gospel. Now, if there was an opponent, an adversary, a nemesis that Jack Thompson despises with every fiber of his being, it's Take-Two Interactive. Thompson has been involved in around 7 cases against various Take-Two products, including GTA, Bully, and Manhunt. In 2005, Thompson launched a campaign to stop Rockstar Games from releasing Bully, which he claimed rehearsed physical revenge and violence against those who've been victimized by, and taught players how to take over your school by bullying. In his eyes, the game was just absolutely nuts, with players being able to punch, hit with slingshots, dunk heads in toilets, commit white or black crime, and bludgeon teachers and classmates with bats. So what did Thompson do? You guessed it, he sued Walmart, Best Buy, Target, Circuit City, GameStop, and Toys R Us, demanding that the game's release be barred. He also participated in a protest at Rockstar's office, hoping that the pressure would make retailers refuse to carry the game, which didn't work. The judge ultimately saw no reason to restrict sales and dismissed the complaint. Thompson was not pleased, accusing the Take-Two employee who demonstrated the game of avoiding the most violent parts and telling the judge, "You did not see the game, you don't even know what it is you saw." In response, the judge judge filed a complaint against Thompson with the Florida bar, calling his behavior inappropriate by a member of the bar, unprofessional, and contemptible. He also criticized Bill Gates and Microsoft for contracting with Rockstar Games to release the game on Xbox. But Thompson still had one more trick up his sleeve. He pointed out that the game's main character, a 15-year-old male, could kiss other boys. He wrote to the ESRB president saying, "We just found gay sexual content in Bully as Jimmy Hopkins makes out with another male student. Good luck with your teen rating now." And they responded by saying that they were already aware of the content when they rated the game. In the result of the murder of Stefan Bakira by his friend Warren LeBlanc in England 2004, the media falsely linked the game Manhunt to the crime after claiming that a copy was found in LeBlanc's room. However, the police later clarified that the motive was a drug-related robbery and that the game was actually found in Bakira's bedroom, not LeBlanc's. But like a falcon, Thompson swooped in on the opportunity to blame the game for the murder. He claimed that he'd even written to Rockstar after the game's release, warning them that it could inspire copycat killings. Thompson went on to say that dozens of killings in the US had been linked to games like Manhunt and that they were essentially murder simulators. So, the Bakira family hired Thompson to sue Sony and Rockstar £50 million in a wrongful death claim. Thompson also vowed to permanently ban the game during the release of the sequel Manhunt 2 and planned to sue Take-Two and Rockstar in an effort to have both Manhunt 2 and Grand Theft Auto 4 banned as public nuisances. And at this point, Take-Two had enough. In 2007, Take-Two filed a lawsuit against Thompson seeking to permanently enjoin him from filing any legal action that will block the sales of the upcoming games GTA 4 and Manhunt 2, accusing Thompson of violating the First Amendment rights with his lawsuits. Thompson responded to this by saying, "I've been praying, literally, that Take-Two and its lawyers would do something so stupid, so arrogant, so dumb, even dumber than what they have to date done, that such a misstep would enable me to destroy Take-Two." The two parties eventually settled the lawsuit, with Thompson agreeing not to seek any legal restrictions on Take-Two's games, threaten to sue the company, or accuse them of any wrongdoing. But when GTA 4 was released in 2008, Thompson called it the gravest assault upon children in this country since polio, and asked the Minnesota governor to pursue and file criminal charges against Target and Best Buy for selling the game to minors. He even sent a letter to Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick addressed to his mother, in which he accused her son of being a member of the Hitler Youth. Now, aside from his beef with Take-Two, in 2005 he wrote an open letter to the Entertainment Software Association president offering a modest video game proposal to the video game industry. In the proposal, Thompson promised to donate $10,000 to a charity chosen by former Take-Two CEO Paul Eibler. The main character, whose son was killed by a boy who played violent video games, I know, shocker, goes on a killing spree at the Electronic Entertainment Expo and murders a bunch of industry executives, including one based on Eibler. And the gaming community took that personally, resulting in the creation of games like I'm OK, a murder simulator. However, Thompson later claimed that his proposal was just satire and refused to make the promised donation. Unfortunately, Jerry Holkins and Mike Krahulik stepped in to make the donation instead. In February 2007, something unexpected happened. Actually, you probably saw this coming. Florida bar filed disbarment proceedings against Jack Thompson over allegations of professional misconduct, including making false statements to tribunals and harassing and intimidating people. Thompson argued that the complaints violated his state religious protections because his advocacy was motivated by his Christian faith. In 2008, a prosecutor recommended enhanced disbarment for Thompson, which would extend the period before he could reapply for admission to the bar from 5 years to 10. The judge ultimately recommended permanent disbarment and a $43,000 fine, which was approved by the Florida Supreme Court. Thompson was permanently disbarred in September 2008 and later filed for an emergency stay of the order of the US District Court, which was denied. And that's the story of Jack Thompson, the man who tried to destroy the video game industry. According to the internet, Thompson is still alive and kicking at the ripe old age of 71. While I left out some of his smaller cases for the sake of simplicity, the question remains: is Jack Thompson a misunderstood individual with valid points, or is he just a crybaby who sues people when the world doesn't agree with him? I'm curious to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to subscribe for more stories like this and turn on post notifications so you never miss another one of my videos. Thank you for watching, take care, and goodbye.
I don't understand why you can't even at least give them the benefit of the doubt until the game comes out.
Well, let me tell you a couple reasons why we shouldn't give Take-Two the benefit of the doubt. One is, this is the company that said they didn't put the hot coffee sex mod in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.